When the food stops coming, the war ends. That single truth has decided more battles in human history than bullets ever have. Not because bullets aren't powerful, but because no fighter, no camp, no criminal network survives long on an empty stomach. In this video, I'm breaking down how the Nigerian army quietly crippled bandit camps in Kogi by cutting off their supply network, and why this move matters more than killing fighters. Because this operation wasn't really about gunfire. It was about hunger. Why would an army target food instead of fighters? Why Kogi? And why now? And why does the arrest of one logistics figure matter more than the elimination of dozens of armed men? Hold those questions. Recently, Nigerian army units operating in Kogi State launched coordinated security operations across several forest routes and nearby communities. There were encounters, some bandits were neutralized, weapons and ammunition were recovered. But buried inside the reports was a detail most people skipped past. A key logistics figure was arrested. And what makes this different is not the firefight. It's who they caught. To understand why this matters, you have to understand Kogi itself. Kogi State is not just another location on the map. It is a strategic hinge. It sits at the meeting point of the north, the southwest, and the north-central zones of Nigeria. Control Kogi, and you influence movement. Roads, highways, forest corridors, they all pass through or near it. For armed groups, Kogi is a bridge. For security forces, it's a gate. The forests in and around Kogi are not random hiding spots. They are connected escape routes. From there, fighters can move north, slip west, or melt south. Supplies flow through the same paths civilians use every day. Food trucks, motorcycles, market women, fuel cans, anonymous footpaths. Control Kogi, and you control movement. This is where most public conversations about banditry miss the point. Bandits do not live off the land. They are not surviving on berries and rainwater like survivalists. Camps depend on systems. Quiet systems. Invisible systems. Food suppliers bring bags of rice, gari beans, dried meat. Drink suppliers move sachet water, soft drinks, alcohol. Fuel runners deliver petrol and diesel for motorcycles and generators. Informants provide warnings and updates. Local collaborators guide movement, store items, pass messages. A gunman without supplies is just a hungry man in the bush. And this is the part most people never think about. The rifle gets the attention. The food keeps the camp alive. What happened in Kogi was not an accident. Troops didn't stumble into success. They didn't wander into the forest and get lucky. Patterns were watched. Movements were studied. Routes were mapped. Timing was chosen. Supply movements always follow routines. Food moves on certain days. Fuel travels at certain hours. People who just pass through always pass through the same way. This was intelligence-led warfare, not random raids. The ambush wasn't luck. It was patience. And this brings us to a brutal reality of modern conflict. Fighters are replaceable. Logistics men are not. If a fighter is lost today, another can be recruited tomorrow. Poverty, fear, coercion. Replacements exist. But suppliers are different. They require trust. They require access to markets. They require knowledge of routes. They require relationships with communities. Cut the supply, and everything changes. Fighters are forced to move. Movement creates mistakes. Mistakes create exposure. Hunger breaks discipline. Thirst kills morale faster than bullets. Comfort sustains criminal planning. Once comfort disappears, paranoia takes over. Camps start turning on each other. Accusations fly. Someone talks, someone runs, someone surrenders. This is how wars are really won. That's why the arrest in Kogi matters. Not the name, not the face, not the publicity. The role. Supplies are the operational lifeline. Remove the kitchen and the camp collapses. When food is seized, destroyed, or blocked, it's not just about what was lost that day. It's about what can no longer happen tomorrow. Planned attacks delayed, kidnappings postponed, patrols canceled, routes abandoned. This is where the discussion of millions comes in. And it's often misunderstood. Millions doesn't just mean cash. It includes lost supplies, destroyed networks, disrupted trade routes, bribes that can no longer be paid, fuel that never arrives, information that goes stale. This isn't a one-day loss, it's a long-term bleed. And the signal this sends going forward is clear. Pressure is increasing, safe zones are shrinking, collaborators are being exposed, logistics routes are no longer safe, the bush is no longer comfortable. So now the hard questions, and these are not questions for me to answer, they're for you. Should suppliers face harsher punishment than shooters? Can banditry survive without local support? Is starvation a more effective strategy than firepower? Pause on that, because maybe the real question isn't how many bandits were killed, but how many are now hungry, desperate, and exposed. What do you think happens next? If you support the men and women putting their lives on the line, tap like. Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'm reading them, and subscribe, because this story isn't over.